So I went to the conference on multilingualism in Palma, and we talked a lot about using languages in Europe, people only speaking one language now, which has been the case in Europe for the last few decades, where people have been learning just their mother tongue and in English, and why they're not learning other languages as they did in the past. Well, at the moment I'm in Macedonia, and it used to be part of Yugoslavia, and here the situation is that everyone would learn what was called Serbo-Croat at school, speak Macedonian or the other languages of the Republic. For example, in Serbia, Serbian; in Croatia, Croatian; in Slovenia, Slovene; in Vojvodina they speak Hungarian. And then you've got other minority languages as well, like the Roma language, Albanian, which is now also the language of Kosovo, and also recognised official language here in Macedonia. The thing is that years ago, when it was all Yugoslavia, people would come from Kosovo and they'd speak to Macedonians in Serbo-Croat, or if they knew Macedonian, Macedonian. Nowadays, well, obviously you'd speak to Albanian speakers in Albanian, but nowadays what you find is people are using English more and more. Similar things happen across Europe as well, especially in the former Soviet bloc, where people had Russian as a lingua franca, or even in places like Poland where they had German as a lingua franca. You're now finding that actually what they'll do is Poles and Germans will speak together to each other in English. I find this fairly disturbing, although I do understand the reasons why. English is not without its cultural and historical baggage, and the way it's become a world language isn't entirely ethical. But it has, in many places, become sort of a politically free language, in that it's sort of a neutral way of communicating. No language is actually neutral ever. So I could never say that English is any better or worse in that respect to any other language in the world. But the fact that it's now replaced learning other languages, a third or a fourth language in Europe, is quite striking and a little bit sad, really. Even though my first language is English, I would much prefer to see people having better communications with each other, with their neighbours. For example, I think that some countries could go a lot further in developing understanding with their neighbours by teaching the languages in schools. This could happen all the way around Europe, and it opens up the job market for its inhabitants too, because they don't just have the choice of going to places to study or to work in the countries where their language is spoken, but they can also go to countries nearby. So if you study in, let's say, Poland, and you learn German more than as well as English, then you've got more opportunities in Germany. Likewise, if you study in Germany near the Polish border, why not learn Polish? Why not have that as an option, so you can go and study in Poland or work in Poland? The same would go for any countries that border each other, where at present sort of English rules. So yeah, I'd hope to see that moving forward, and it's one of the things that I noticed at the conference as well, that English was the main language that was spoken, and people spoke in other languages, but English is definitely the lingua franca at these kinds of events, I guess. And I'd like to see with the polyglot conferences that we actually try and move a little bit away from that, and definitely have more interactions in different languages. Whether we need translations into English, that might be an inevitable thing, but I'd like to see more encouragement for people to pick up a second, third or fourth for the foreign language, just so that we can appreciate our diversity in the world and not lose the cultural heritage which is transported through the languages that we speak. So please stay tuned to the Speaking Fluently page and also to the Polyglot Conference, and please feed in with your ideas and thoughts on the idea of keeping and encouraging and promoting a more multilingual Europe and world. Bye.